Ready?
Here we are. Welcome back to Salt Lake City, Utah. My name is Dave Vincent alongside David Fink. Let's listen to the announcements as Emmett Pachot takes on this finals appearance between Luis Moreno and Charlie Shanks.
Pro stop. Serving from Tucson, Arizona, currently ranked #2 in the world, Luis Moreno.
And there's the round of applause from this educated crowd here at the Sports Mall.
Returning serve from Belfast, Ireland, currently residing in New York City, #1 in the world, Charlie Shanks.
And there's Charlie Shanks. He has worldwide fans.
1 game to 25. Win by 2, 0-0.
There's the announcement from Emmett Pachot. Here's that serve, Dave. Immediately goes with that wrinkle serve, sliding the right wall. Charlie's going to have to do some hustling here.
You know, Charlie has not been on the court a lot this weekend, Dave. He's won his matches very easily. That should be an avoidable. We'll see if Emmett calls it.
That was so close. That was so close. Give him some room, Charlie. 0-0.
Well, at least the referee recognized that it was so close. I think the referee oftentimes will say, well, you know, I'd take that shot down the right wall. And, you know, that's what you're supposed to do is take that shot down the right. And Luis decided to go straight down the middle of the court.
0-0. Short.
But you're going to see a lot of close play with Luis Moreno. That's the way he plays. Now, in practice, he won't make a big deal about it, Dave. But in a tournament, he'll look at the referee 100 times. And there's the first point.
And I don't know what Charlie's looking at there. That was a bad error from Charlie. Not a good second serve from Luis. What's he trying to do there,
Dave? That's still my point, is that Luis is so close to his opponent. Charlie trips over Luis after the follow-through.
Short.
And Luis stopped in the booth, Dave, and said, what do I need to do? I told him, you get that serve going to the left with the head fake, it's unreturnable. And he had Charlie leaning the wrong way there. And Charlie, Dave, is not reacting well to Luis's power right now. You can see that Charlie's just a step slow. He hasn't seen the ball moving this fast yet in this event. Luis, Dave, is the hardest hitter in the rally. You see some guys hit a hard serve or a hard backwall shot. Luis cranks it up on every shot. And Charlie needs to put that down. That popped up. Luis had a good look at it.
1-1. Point.
Charlie gets that second point.
2-1.
Referee Emmett Pachot has been our lead referee basically for this race right here. And when I say lead, I don't mean the head referee, Dave. I'm talking about the guy that's pretty much taking the lead on the major finals, semifinals.
Well, that's right, Dave. He's reffed the semifinals and finals of every event here except for Tucson,
right down
where he was in the semifinals. And I've never seen Luis, Dave, miss a shot that badly. I think Luis just pulled up there. And Dave, I've noticed, and I don't know if you've noticed this as well, but Luis gets really down on himself now.
3-1.
Yelling and just disgusted with his play.
Well, sometimes he comes to the tournament and you know when he walks through the front door if he's going to win it. I'm not so confident about his body language here, but he's still talented. Don't get me wrong, but I can just tell that there's something wrong. And then finding out that he was under the weather and then witnessing him sleeping for 4 straight hours out on the park bench in the middle of the day kind of proves that he's just not feeling good. And Dave, you had the same problem. Maybe he got it from you.
Well, I think it's going around Tucson. There's a really bad flu that involves congestion and a sore throat.
First time out.
A stuffy head, and it's very difficult. It might be bronchitis.
Luis is going to to take some of this vitamin water. Not feeling good today, but let's see how well he performs. He is a crowd favorite here in Salt Lake City, and the crowd puts their hands together for Charlie Shanks as he walks off the court, which is nice to see. You're watching the WPH Race for 8. My name is Dave Vincent alongside David Fink for this match. It's really quiet in that gallery because they respect the players are sitting down. One of the gallery members, Chris Watkins, Waddy Dog, steps up, stands up to get out of the way so Charlie can sit down. Dave, when you were playing your match against Luis, you had to go all the way down the gallery area and then come up and sit. I'm sure that's a little annoying to have to walk upstairs and find an open spot, but
I actually prefer as a player just to walk over a
10
couple feet and have your own space, because you know you're trying to get your thoughts together. You don't want to really sit knee to knee with everyone in the gallery. It's nice to be able to separate yourself just a little bit. And it's not all that much farther, Dave. I know you call that a workout.
Charlie
walking
serves.
10 extra feet.
Resuming play.
no, it's just
5-1.
the part I don't like is that you lose time. You only have 60 seconds, and you just want a breather to kind of think to yourself a little bit. You spend half of that time trying to find a location to sit down.
He disagrees. He agrees.
Charlie Shanks is trying
What's
to.
he saying? What?
They're going to try to kick Abraham out of this line judging because
Switch
he's from
Abe.
Tucson.
You want me to? Yeah, I want to change you. Okay. He wants me to switch you. It is my call. Ivan, you want to do it? Huh?
Charlie Shanks has taken this pretty serious. Now you can see the gang, we
Where's
call him,
Armino?
hanging out at the top up
Here we
here.
go. You doing line? Sorry, Abe.
Abraham Montijo is no longer line judging, and I can only presume the reason why is because Charlie Shanks just doesn't want a hometown favorite and two sparring partners, even though they've never sparred together,
6-1.
having any type of an advantage.
And Luis is off to a terrible start here, Dave. He looks a little fatigued. Doesn't look like he has a lot of bounce in his step. Or is it Charlie is just that strong?
7-1.
Look at these serves, Dave. I mean, there's just no way you could ever return that. If Charlie told you he was going to hit that exact spot, you still couldn't return it. And Dave, remember, just 2 months ago, Luis Moreno beat Charlie Shanks in 19 minutes in the final. And another unbelievable serve.
Hold it.
Well, that's just the way Charlie's been playing this whole tournament.
Well, you know, Charlie makes his opponents look ordinary.
Want to give a big
8-1.
shout out to the Houston Handball Club. They're having a viewing party right now at Mike Landry's house, where multiple handball players from Houston have showed up, Dave, and they're watching on the big screen TV right now as Luis Moreno is.
They're watching Luis Moreno hit some of the worst shots I've ever seen Luis hit. He's flubbed 2 back wall setups with his right hand.
9-1.
And he's off to an abysmal start here. Not a good shot there from Luis. And Charlie runs.
Again.
I don't like that call at all.
I actually think it's a great call.
No, I don't.
It went right across you.
No, I don't like that. Luis is behind him there. He creates the contact running into him. It didn't affect anything.
That was
And Dave, you'll see that on the replay that that was not the right call. And you know as a player when you hit that exact shot.
Well, as a player, I wouldn't want it. That looked like a screen serve. Luis is still running around though, Dave. And there's another point. Now 10-1. But this has been a strange tournament for these awkward blowouts. Not a lot of close play. I mean, I guess you would say the marquee match of the tournament was Emmett Pachot
10-1.
and Martin McKearns, or Chris Watkins and Waddy Dog and the seniors. But we're seeing some crazy blowouts, and Luis Moreno's just completely all out of sorts here. I don't think anybody in the stands here, Dave, has ever seen Luis Moreno play like this.
11-1.
Well, this is the Luis Moreno that we saw at the Nationals this year against Charlie Shanks, where he got routed. And you remember that match, Dave. He lost in 21-14 And Emmett lets the play continue. 21-14, 21-4. And that should have been called.
Yeah, that one's over.
I'd like to see the referee call it immediately without having the player lobby, even if it is the right call.
11-1. Short. Second serve.
It's the second serve. Charlie goes with that underhand to Luis.
And it just seems like Charlie's in slow motion here. The ball is just right where he wants it to be. And for Luis, Dave, he's all over the place. Can't get his bearings in there. He's become a retriever. And Charlie Shanks is dictating nearly every rally here.
12-1.
And Dave, it looks like Luis is trying to hit that sidearm instead of just sort of flipping it back up high.
13-1.
Very difficult to take a sidearm swing at that Charlie Shanks serve.
That's the typical Luis Moreno that we've seen. Now this is kind of resembles what we saw Luis do to Charlie Shanks in
13.
Anchorage, Alaska. And Charlie walked through, or got walked through by Luis Moreno in about 19 minutes, if not quicker. We're only 12 minutes into this.
2-13.
Luis Moreno just scored his second point. Wow.
I believe, Dave, that Charlie Shanks is the best backwall player on the Race for 8 tour. Haven't seen anybody hit the ball that consistently low, even from the very deep court. Charlie knows how to find that bottom board.
13-2. Short.
Charlie
Second
Shanks,
serve.
such a smart mind. He really focuses on this serve, puts the ball on a tee, and then tees off on it. And he has a concept too.
Oh, he's very much playing within a system.
Luis is a little upset with himself here.
14-2.
What a half this has been for Charlie Shanks, and he gets another one. And look at that
Halftime.
fist pump right there at 15. And that's
3
Charlie,
minutes.
who wants this, and he wants to get it. He will go into Seattle with the #1 ranking if he were to close it out.
And actually, Charlie Shanks would be #1 even if he were to lose this match by 0.5 points. But it looks like he'll stretch that #1 lead unless something dramatic changes here.
Well, that dramatic thing is going to have to begin immediately because Luis Moreno is just not himself. And here's a replay. Charlie Shanks goes up to the roof. And watch this very last emotion that comes out of Charlie Shanks here when he does that fist pump. Watch this, Dave. Okay, guess we're not going to see just a half a second further on there.
Dave, what is going through Charlie's mind here at halftime? I mean, he has to be thinking, I can't really play any better than that. Do I just try and go in there and maintain my lead, or do I just, go in there and just keep pushing and just keep overwhelming Luis Moreno? Because it's hard sometimes as a competitor mentally to say, well, how can I go in there and do any better than that?
Well, I believe that Charlie's just going to have to go in there and say, I need to just act like this is the finals of the U.S. Open and go out and play as hard as I can. And there's that fist pump right there from Charlie Shanks. And that's a lot of aggression. I believe a guy that has that going on for him at halftime is going to carry over that into the second half. Now, if he didn't do the fist pump, maybe I'd have a different answer. But I just don't see – that's, to me, is a guy that wants to win. And the difference between him and Moreno on this day so far for the first half, I think it's completely evident with that fist pump right there. We're going to take a quick break. We'll be back in about a minute. You stay here at racefor8.com.
My name is Bruce Fabrizio. In 1975, I invented Simple Green based on 3 principles. It had to be safer to use, it had to work, and it had to be completely made in America. From generation to generation, Simple Green has been cleaning everything from car engines and tools to kitchen counters and floors. No matter what you clean, indoors or outdoors, clean it with non-toxic, biodegradable Simple Green.
Thirty seconds. All right, we're about to start the second half. Charlie leads 15-2. Charlie's serve.
We're back here for
15-2.
the second half. We had a little color from one of our employees that came into the booth here.
Luis will have to do something quickly here, because if Charlie extends this lead to 19 or 20-2, it's over.
I think it's over right there.
I agree with you. And I'll start etching now. And Dave, Charlie now has a huge lead going into the Players' Championship. He could
16-2.
clinch the Player of the Year even without winning the Players' Championship, depending on how the points shake out.
Well, he's certainly putting himself into the driver's seat here, and he's got another open shot. Doesn't get it though, and then he gets that one with a little punch.
Good no call there from the referee.
Luis Moreno is just all out of sorts.
17-2.
It'd be interesting to see if Moreno could work on a B game. That one game that he just goes to in times like
Check it.
this.
it. 17-2.
That ball hit the light. It was actually mishit anyway.
2-17.
The ball hit the light and went straight down. Wow, that's just not Luis, Dave. Big right down the middle back wall setup, and he hit it 4 feet high with the 2-wall pass instead of a kill shot attempt.
3-17.
You know, the key to Charlie Shanks' return of serve with Luis Moreno that other players just don't do, other than Sean Lenning, is Charlie has this really cool, quick underhand punch fist.
Oh, it's a great shot.
A lot of other players are into that scoop thing where they just want to paddle all the returns, and
4-17.
that gives Luis a time to set his feet and fly kill. Charlie just punch fists almost every single one of the returns. And Moreno just completely unraveled on that revolving door shot there.
17-4.
Overhit.
Long.
I'd like to see that rule changed where the player
Second serve.
that is returning the serve on a long serve has the option to take it if they want to. Because I don't see, you have the option on a ball that you know is going to be long, you can take it out of the air. Why can't you just take it off the back wall anyway?
Well, why couldn't you just take a short serve that's a huge setup and just take that and
Because it's
hit
not
that
into
as well?
play.
18-4.
It's not into play. The other ball actually is into play. It's over the short line. It gives you a chance to actually, you have the chance to take a long ball that you know is going to be long. I mean, why take it just a step further and just say, hey, this guy gave me a huge setup off the back wall, a huge long serve that I can actually roll out, but I'm penalized because he overhit the ball?
Well, I don't understand why serving the ball into the ground is an immediate side out, but
But you're getting off subject.
Well,
We're talking about the long one. We can talk about your little nuances that you'd like to change.
Well, I just don't agree with your long
19-4.
serve. That's all I
Well,
can
that's all I
really
needed
say.
to hear from you.
Okay.
Now I'm going to go to find somebody that does agree with me.
Okay.
We're going to form a party, and then we're
Yeah.
going to rally together.
Okay. That's called a coalition, actually.
Well, that's what I'm going to find.
Okay.
I'm going to create, I mean. Don't think I won't.
Well, I haven't seen you talk to anybody yet this weekend, so it's going to be harder than you think, actually.
Score here is 4-19.
And I actually mean that.
I'm actually talking to thousands of viewers right now.
4-19.
Luis Moreno representing the Idaho Spuds team.
Oh, what
Charlie.
a shot.
Left-handed flat rollout kill from Lurgan boy.
That's why they call him the human carbine. THC.
19-4.
Nice little reverse hook there.
Bad bounce. Charlie adjusts.
Well, that's what pros do.
Look
Oh, I
at
like
Charlie
that.
reset the rally. Perfect shot. And Luis short arms that. And another short arm from Luis. Is that just bad footwork, Dave?
That's just almost identical right now. This Luis Moreno is identical to the one that we saw at the U.S. Open
Yeah.
when Charlie Shanks defeated him there.
That was,
Yeah, excuse me, the Nationals.
yeah.
Almost
That's
the
your
same
first.
type of scores, same type of body language.
Score is 20-4.
Dave, I believe it was Charlie Shanks that defeated Luis at the U.S. Open as well.
Well, one of those where Luis just came in completely flat, and it must have been the U.S. Open where
Well,
Charlie
no,
defeated
it
him.
was the Nationals, but I believe it happened in both stops. Luis did beat Charlie at the World Championships. 21-9, 21-19. That was a quarterfinal match.
Thirty seconds.
And Dave, this match is just 24 minutes old and it's almost over.
10 seconds.
Well, they started at 3 minutes after 5, and it's 5:22 Mountain Time, so we're at 19 minutes right now.
Okay.
This is the race for 8. You can watch these players in person in Seattle, Washington, May 3rd and 4th.
24.
For the Players' Championship. And that ball skipped in. 21 serves 4 now.
21-4.
This would be Charlie's second ever race for 8 title.
That was one of the best serves I've ever seen right there. That was a laser. Luis wants to see if it's wet.
22-4.
And
Short.
Dave, I don't know if we've ever seen a champion dominate the semifinals and finals to this extent. We did see Luis Moreno in
Anchorage.
Alaska.
Yeah.
Very similar.
Luis in Anchorage was
Second serve.
But
a
Charlie,
one-man wrecking ball.
well, Charlie Shanks right now,
Short.
double faults, but has outscored his semifinal and final opponents combined 47-7
4-22.
thus far.
Boy.
And Charlie just barely misses that. Looked good.
5-22.
Wow. And Luis hit that flat kill right there.
6-22.
I don't think Luis can survive this, giving a huge
7-22.
Well, you know,
15,
Dave,
to 15, 16, 17 point spot that he's gotten himself into.
not if he's going to hit serves like that.
That ball stayed up. Luis could have got that.
Well, Dave, that's a dangerous shot off the back wall to go into the cross corner because that ball does stay up when you hit it off the back wall unless you pinch it really tight and low.
22-7.
I don't know what Luis was looking at there, but he definitely shot the referee a glance.
Well, I think he thought it was a screen serve, but if that's the case, then every serve that Luis is doing to Charlie's left is a screen. And here it is, game and match point, Charlie Shanks.
24-7. Seven 24. What's up?
This is interesting here. Luis says that Charlie stepped on his hand, and Charlie looked back and said, no, I didn't.
When was that? All right, we'll do it over. We'll do it over.
Take a look at the replay here. Luis says that he had his hand down and Charlie stepped on it right there. And Luis, I guess, just kind of took a start step. I actually agree with Luis there, I believe.
I think I know which play he's talking about, and I think it was right after your shot, so he had the chance to run to the ball.
He got stepped on and just was a little late getting out of the gate. Now, we couldn't really see it, but you can see that Charlie's foot was either on it or next to it, and Luis couldn't get out of there.
7-24.
Luis smiled at him, and Charlie said something back, and then Luis said, no, it really did step on me.
Well, if you have to keep
8-24.
arguing your point, usually you're wrong. Look at that Irish whip punch fist from Charlie. Luis gave him a big opening when he could have ended the rally.
24-8.
And Charlie gets it there, Dave.
Great match, guys.
Charlie Shanks with his second race title, and he earned it there, Dave. I mean, defeating Sean Lenning 25-3.
Let's hear
now
it for Charlie Shanks.
You hear the crowd, they appreciate this. 25-8, Charlie Shanks, Dave, solidifies his #1 ranking going into the Players' Championship. He'll be the guy to beat in Seattle in 2 weeks.
Yeah, Charlie's going to come in with momentum. This crowd is putting their hands together. Certainly going to try to get Charlie in this booth here, but this crowd, they're just hanging around like there's more stuff to be had, and I'm not sure there is. There might be an announcement as we swing courtside here. Let's take a listen. Charlie just kind of addresses the crowd there, which I find interesting. Let's listen. And this is new on the Race for 8 Tour. The player that wins sticks around and addresses the champion without being prompted by anybody amongst the management. They just step out and do it. We saw Luis Moreno do it in Anchorage, Alaska, and we also saw it happen in Denver, Colorado. Charlie Shanks going through this post-game ceremony here as he takes down Luis Moreno 25-8. In fact, semifinals and finals, a combined score of about 10 points. Charlie Shanks has played that good. You're really watching one of the best players on the tour. Charlie Shanks, currently ranked #1 in the world right now. Luis Moreno's not going to give that cup up. Luis still wants it, and you can see some fire in there. But Charlie Shanks deserving to hold this trophy for a while now in Salt Lake City, Utah, where he has taken down Luis Moreno. This is the second ever win for Charlie Shanks on the tour. He won the stop #3 in Houston, Texas, and then he turns around and has won stop #6, and he's going to try to get the next one as well. And that's going to be the Players' Championship May 3rd and May 4th. Now, if you want to buy your tickets to watch courtside in Seattle, Washington at the Washington Athletic Club, you can go to seattletickets@racefreight.com. You can contact us here by getting a hold of that email address at seattletickets@racefreight.com. You can stay at the prestigious hotel there or the many hotels along the way, as Charlie Shanks is certainly going to be the favorite going into that tournament, but it's just been announced that Paul Brady will be in Seattle. He'll be there disrupting the flow, playing at the Washington Athletic Club, and he is one of the named 8. Hopefully we'll get Charlie Shanks into this booth here, which is exactly what we're trying to do. Charlie Shanks hopefully will be in for an interview to talk about his win as he is making his way down the aisle, shaking hands, kissing babies. And then we'll wrap up this show and then see you in Seattle, Washington. In the meantime, though, players are still just having fun, hanging out, watching this live broadcast. Charlie Shanks from Ireland, now living in New Jersey. And he said this will be his last race year. He was here for the first race season where he took 4th place. This year he's made a vast improvement. And we're going to try to get him into the booth for a rare interview. But we'll try to make it brief because we know it's getting late. Charlie Shanks, once again, congratulations. This is your 2nd stop this season, Charlie. I mean, you did it again. In Houston, you had that nice run there. I'm sure it felt really good. What were the difference of the feelings that you had between Houston and here? Do you feel stronger?
I think it's pretty much the same, you know. I got my first serves in. My first serves were working well, and that gave me the opportunity to get it, you know, put my opponents under pressure and give me the setups to kill it, you know. So pretty much the same as Houston.
There's a little word called retribution. And I feel that you got a little bit of that when you faced Sean Lenning and took him down 25-3 or so in the semifinals. And then you did the same thing to Luis. Both of those players have done that to you. One, Sean Lenning got you in Tucson, you might remember.
Yeah.
That match was quite quick. And then the one that Luis got you in Anchorage, he put a beat down on you there. And now I feel like you kind of came back and said, you know what, I'm going to show you something here.
No, I wasn't looking at any retribution or any sport. I just wanted to win the Salt Lake City. I just wanted to win the pro stop. So I wasn't, when I was going in or prior beforehand, I wasn't thinking at all about those losses. That would have been negative to think about those losses. I was just thinking, you know, I can go in and I can try and, you know, dominate these guys. And as you said, like it was a one-sided affair this tournament, and I benefited against Lenning and Moreno, whereas previously they have done it to me. So it's just a case of all 3 players have good serves, and whenever we're on, and whenever, you know, we need time in the service box, and I was able to keep Luis and Sean out of the service box, you know, the last 2 games. So, and therefore they couldn't get their serves in, and I had all the opportunities.
We have about 3 weeks before the Players' Championship in Seattle, Washington. Charlie Shanks, what are you going to do to prepare? I know that in Ireland, you had a lot of time between Denver and this stop. I'd say about 5 weeks. That would be a little bit more similar to the type of training style that you might have back home in Ireland. Now you're going to be about 3 weeks, 2.5 weeks before you prepare for this next one. How do you recover here and then get back in and get that focus back?
I definitely think I benefit when it's 4 or 5 weeks between a pro stop. I can get a good block of training in, and then my confidence is up. Whereas sometimes after an event, if it's quickly followed by another, it kind of, you lose your concentration a little bit. So after Houston, I felt I sort of trained too hard, and then was kind of burnt out in Alaska. So I'm gonna, not go hard at it, but take it a little bit easy. Trying to find the middle ground over the next couple of weeks and prepare for Seattle.
Seattle, Washington will be May 3rd and 4th. And I don't know if you heard the rumors, but it is true. Paul Brady will be coming to Seattle. He will be one of the named 8. Yeah. You have a smile on your face. I know that, and a lot of other players that I've talked to throughout the years, Charlie, that are in tournaments, when you say, hey, you're going to play your state rival, they're like, what? I have to play them in the semis? With you guys, though, when you say Paul Brady's coming, you're like, bring it on. This is somebody I want to play.
Yeah, well, we want to be playing against the best players in the world, and Paul is the best player in the world. So we want to be, we want to get opportunities against them and play against them. And you know, and you know he's coming to Seattle and he's putting everything he's done in the past, all his reputation, he's putting it on the line in Seattle. So, you know, speaking to some of the lads here, they're looking forward to seeing him.
Well, you're the #1 player in the world right now. You said that Paul Brady was the #1 player in the world. That's because he's won the World Championship and the National Championships, but he doesn't regularly go on this Pro Tour. So you've got that #1 ranking. So it's really, I can see this coming down to 2 of the #1s, you versus Paul Brady, if it all works that way in the bracket, and hopefully it does for you, because you should get that respect.
Well, I wouldn't count out Luis and Sean. You know, they're going to, after this weekend, they're going to be looking. They're going to be coming. They're going to have a point to prove in Seattle. They're not going to be looking at retribution. You know, they're going to be. They're better than this weekend, and they're going to come hard at it in Seattle.
You know, this live broadcast, and you have a lot of fans watching back home, and I know this because they're texting. They're watching. Gavin Buggy is.
Big Gavin, huh?
He's watching. He's watching. But you know, there's a lot of players that look at you, and I know that has to be a little bit of pressure when you lose a match. Where you get embarrassed just a little bit, and you have that moment when you come back and say, I'm not necessarily going to try to kill Charlie Shanks. I'm going to go out there and try to prove that I'm not a bad handball player. And I think, you know,
definitely one game doesn't make you a bad handball player. You know, those guys are going to come back, and you know what happened to me in the past, and I've come back stronger, and seems going to happen for them.
Kind of a wake-up call, maybe. So,
maybe.
What are you going to do next? As you get back home, how many days do you go? It seems to me that you're going to be pretty fresh coming out of this pro stop. I saw you running up and down the stairs in between your semifinal match, which normally you're icing and you're keeping it kind of cool, but you seem to be fresh.
I felt a little bit tired yesterday, last night. Maybe that was the late night, but yeah, today I felt a bit fresher. You know, maybe I got in, I had trouble with my flights out of New York. I was flying out Thursday, and my flight was cancelled and delayed, and the next flight was delayed, so I didn't get in till late Thursday night. And maybe, today was when I kind of felt at myself again.
Do you feel that maybe as you move forward that maybe you're going to change your tournament regimen and go out to Italian food and get out at 1 o'clock in the morning and do that on the night of a final?
No, that's not good. Maybe Italian food, but not too late, you know. Yeah, you better say hello to Mary there. She's watching, so.
Well, Mary,
she'll upset me if she doesn't.
Mary, he was a nice boy.
She always goes off to me.
Chicken masala. I don't know what you have, but I'm assuming that's what it was, where you had the salmon.
It was the salmon, yeah.
Okay, the salmon.
The salmon was delicious.
It was so great, and we went across the street. It was a VIP party that your future ex-husband will be.
I don't think she'll like you. I don't think she'll be like you saying that in the future.
Well, 1 in 7.
We're Irish. Well, once you get married, that's it for life.
Okay, all right, that's different.
We're not American.
That's right. You're not getting married in America, so I apologize to you for that. But 1 in 7 marry do in a divorce. But anyway, I'm here
in America.
In America. And right now you're an American, son.
No.
But nonetheless, you were a good boy last night. You ate the salmon, and I think you went out late. It changed you up just a little bit, maybe sparked something inside you, and you played great today, Charlie. So we're really proud of you once again. It's great to have you play in the Pro Tour. This has been a great season. I heard a rumor that you were not probably going to be around for a lot of the stops next year. So if that is the case, I know every day you have to reevaluate, but yeah, it's been a pleasure having you.
It's going to be too difficult to travel from Ireland all the way across every second month. So this is pretty much my last season on the WPH tour. Maybe I'll be back for the US Open, the US Nationals, and maybe get 1 or 2 WPH stops in. But I'll also be playing the Irish tournament, so it's going to be pretty difficult.
Well, hopefully we can have you back, and I hope this isn't the last time we have you in the booth. So congratulations on a great season. You're #1 right now, and you're also the favorite going into the Players' Championship.
All right, thank you.
Good win.
All right, see you later.
Charlie Shanks, who stops by here just to give us a quick, brief meeting.
We are rolling.
All right, Mama's gonna bring it home. Mama's gonna bring it home. Okay.
Come on, watch this guy.
Oh, backwards.
Oh, don't. Okay.
It went into Bob and Carol's yard. Oh, no? Okay, here it goes.
Oh, no!
Challenge your kids to be active and eat healthy.
All right, let's see what you can do. Let's go.
They might surprise you. Search We Can for more ideas on how you and your kids can get healthy together.
My life is full of statistics. Thing is, I could have dropped out of school and become one myself, but I didn't because I had people that believed in me. Here's another statistic. 7,000 students drop out every school day. That's 1 every 26 seconds. It's time that students know that we believe in them.
Inspire a student and share your message of support at boostup.org.
Rethink what you know about this Vegas icon. Elevate your expectations at the Stratosphere Hotel, Casino, and Tower. See what's new, up, down, and all around.
Here we go. We're gonna make some juice.
It's gonna be good.
She's excited. A little bit of kale.
Please don't put this on
I'm putting it all over the line.
It's wet. It needs something. No, it'll go.
Don't break my juicer. Looks good.
You ready to try it?
Come on, baby.
Challenge your kids to be active and eat healthy.
It's okay.
Okay, all right.
They might surprise you.
She took another sip. You saw it?
Search We Can for more ideas on how you and your kids can get healthy together.
So, what's it gonna be? We could ride bikes, skating, movies, zoo, whatever you guys want to do.
Can we just do this?
Yeah. We could just do this.
The smallest moments can have the biggest impact on a child's life. Take time to be a dad today.